I'm Scott Holmes. I'm a member of Durham Friends Meeting. So when I describe who I am, I guess it's, parent, spouse, Quaker, lawyer, I don't know in what order. But I am a trial lawyer, and that's a very peculiar group of people to be. It means that for my work, I have to wear a suit, and for many years I had to wear a tie. And that always felt uncomfortable in the sense of my yearning to connect with folks. Immediately I was kind of shutting myself off to most of the people in the world. So there came a point in my spiritual journey where I had been to North Carolina yearly meeting and hung out with some old-time Quakers who were doing plain dress. It kind of planted a seed in my mind that I was not clear with the tie. The first few days of work, I kind of had this nauseous feeling, this kind of, when I put on the tie, like, this isn't resting easy with me. And I thought maybe I should start thinking about asking for a clearness committee and talking to people who know more about this and helping me make sure this is really a spiritual thing and not just some kind of bug and stubborn, boneheaded idea I've got. And so I put the tie on, wore it, but it was kind of heavy. And then the next day, it came time to put on the tie, and it was kind of heavier. And by the third day, I'm like, you know what? I don't have time for a clearness committee. I'm just not going to wear a tie today. We'll just experiment with this and see how it goes. And it went great. It was awesome. I was in state court. I was in kind of some lower courts where I'd been pretty much all my professional life. All the lawyers knew me. All the judges knew me. Oh, he forgot his tie. I don't know what they thought, but no one asked me any questions. I got a complete free pass not having a tie in court. I'm like, I'm good. This is great. Maybe I can pull this off and nobody will notice. That would be so cool. But then I had federal court the next day, and that judge, he stopped court immediately and called me up and said, "Have you ever been in federal court?" He took a recess and to give me time to think about this. And he's like, and we'll see what you really think and we'll come back on the record here, after lunch, and we'll take it up at that time. And the kind of impression was, you need to go get a tie on. I had another encounter with a judge who made some kind of comment when we were arguing about it that, well, if you were wearing a dress, I wouldn't let you appear in this court. I'm like, well, why not? And he was like, he didn't understand that. And I'm like, if I'm qualified, if I'm licensed, if I have done everything I need to do to be a lawyer and my client wants me to, how can you not let me practice in a dress? And so what I started learning very quickly was that it wasn't simplicity, it was more about equality. That the tie is this symbol of male power. And that I started learning from my female attorney friends as they were laughing at my experiment, how women attorneys have to think about their dress every day. There's no standard costume that they can just put on and not have anyone question them about their appearance in court. Is the dress too low? Is it too high? Is it the right color? Is it this or that? Is it the right place for the right court? And there's this second guessing that happens with their dress that is oppressive. It is the inherent in being a woman, that they have to live up to this standard, and the guy has the free pass because the guys make the rules. And so I started really learning more about oppression and what it's like to be treated unfairly because of something completely arbitrary like a tie. And so what I learned was the tie had more to do with the power and privilege of male patriarchy than it did simplicity. That whole time, I was experiencing what I imagine many folks feel who are spiritually led to do things that aren't normal. And it was this wonderful sense of peace, this wonderful sense of untouchability. It was like I was in the Matrix and none of the bullets could hit me. The rules suddenly don't apply to me, Judge. I've got this other power that's higher, and do what you got to do, but I'm good. And came back without a tie, and he said, "You may appear as you are." which seemed kind of presumptuous of him to tell me that I could appear as I am, but let me know I was off the hook and I wasn't going to go to jail. Meanwhile, my poor client is like sweating bullets. It's like, what the hell lawyer did I get that can't show up with a tie on? Just, of all the different things that are wrong with my costume, somehow the tie ended up being it. Another is that I wear hats all the time, but I had no problem taking my hat off in court. That's another tradition of removing hats. And, that's a much more clear historic Quaker problem with the hat than it is to the tie. So I'm hoping that I never get the leading to keep my hat on, because that would be a quick way to go to jail.